Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and I'm back once again with some pretty obscure black metal recommendations. And I'm pretty sure you could not dispute the fact that this is very obscure stuff. All from Forbidden Keep Records from here in the UK, a very underground, very authentic and organic label. Quite a low key kind of operation, but I really like it. I really like the kind of the ethics of Forbidden Keep. The whole approach is very much harking back to the sort of tape trading days, which was obviously years before I was even born. But I really like the organic nature of what Forbidden Keep are doing. So what we've got here is actually their latest batch of releases on the label. 3 cassettes, and we've got a nice digipack CD as well here. A real interesting mix of stuff. Very, very different. We've got quite a range, ranging from what I would say is almost second wave black metal worship through to sort of dungeon synth infused black metal, right through to outright dungeon synth. The first dungeon synth cassette that I have actually purchased. Unknowingly, I might add, in fact, because I just assumed it was another black metal release, certainly based on the names and of the bands, because it's a split release. But we'll get on to that a bit more in a moment. But the logos kind of drew me in. So I'll take you through these 3 tapes and 1 CD. All really enjoyable releases. I've been listening to these over the last sort of week or so, quite routinely. All enjoyable. Certainly, as we're getting towards, we're into autumn now, we're into fall, as our American cousins would say. We're heading towards the darker time of year. What you really need is you need some pretty bleak black metal, some really dark stuff. And these choices, these recommendations from Forbidden Keep Records, which I will put a little link to their web store in the description, these are what you want to be starting with. So, some obscure black metal. We'll kick off with the first release here. This is on top of the pile, so we'll start here. As Good a Place as Any. This band is entitled, now I'm probably going to butcher this, but Angstloch, and this is The Shades of Pale Night. So, to my knowledge, unless you know otherwise, please do feel free to correct me. I think this is the only release from the band. However, I don't know where this band is from. I don't know the composition of this band. It all seems very, shall we say, very obscure. It is very mystic. There's a lot of mystery here. Really cool black tape with the sticker on both sides there. Awesome artwork. This just kind of reeks of, in my opinion, second wave black metal worship. Yeah, this is very obscure stuff indeed. Can't identify the guy or the person, the individual responsible for the musicianship here, for the instrumentals and the synths, but hey, Angstloch, absolutely brilliant. I would say this is very, very synth-driven and sort of dungeon synth-driven black metal. It's very lo-fi, huge buzzing kind of guitars, and then we've got, the stomping, step-paced drumming. Then we've got that kind of, I'm going to say like ethereal, haunting vocals over the top. But the whole thing just works. This is nothing new in the sense that this isn't some sort of groundbreaking style of music or even groundbreaking style of black metal. Because of course, synths and keys in black metal is nothing new. Emperor have been doing it for decades, or were doing it decades ago. However, what I would say is actually this is really enjoyable. If you just take it at face value that, this is kind of synth black metal, it's got a good mixture of the two. Actually, it's quite enjoyable. The Shade of Pale Night is probably, actually, I'm not going to say it's my favourite out of these little kind of cluster of releases, because I think they're all really good in their own way. But this is the one that I have actually been coming back to the most frequently, just because I think it's really catchy. It's surprisingly catchy. Certainly the synths, they really and the keys really stick in mind. It's very, very memorable stuff, but it's very good. Somewhere in the region of about 30 minutes long. It's just good stuff. If you like your very sort of traditional black metal, but incorporating some synths and some soundscapes, kind of that what I would call sort of fantasy video game soundtrack music. Definitely, this is a very, very good place to start. So light some black candles, turn out the lights, close the curtains, and sit back and enjoy some Angstloch with the Shades of Pale Night. An enjoyable little tape. I have to say, I've actually recently purchased a portable CD and cassette player, just because my tiny little cassette player that I've had for a little while is pretty crap, to be honest. And there's something about black metal on tape that really works. It's just so organic. And on this little tape player that I bought, little kind of sound system, stereo system, it just works. It just works. There's something so organic about it. I don't know what it is, but I enjoy it. So, Angstloch with Shades of Pale Night. Then we've got another pretty raw black metal release from a band entitled Malign Hex. And this is quite a title, in fact. This is Putrescent Phantoms of Life's Failure. I'll just show you the artwork here, which kind of reminds me of No Face from Spirited Away. Got that kind of vibe going there, but this is very, very black. I don't know if this would be classed as an album or an EP. From Canada, Malign Hex, I believe, is a one-person project, a one-man band. Not quite sure of the name. Cool stickers on the shell there, though, and artwork. What I'm picking up is more of a second wave black metal influence, and there's quite a lot of atmospherics here. It paints a really kind of bleak soundscape. Again, it's those really buzzing, fuzzy riffs. It's the kind of thudding, quite dull sounding percussion, and then we've got the snarling kind of vocals as well. I believe this is from Canada. Malign Hex are from Canada, but you know what? This is pretty raw black metal. If you like your sort of early Dark Throne, that kind of, you know, very, very raw sounding, low production quality, lo-fi, just quite dull sounding percussive black metal, then definitely Malign Hex is enjoyable. You're really going to enjoy it. It's an interesting release. It's definitely interesting, and I think that fans of sort of true cold, raw, true bleak, true black metal, you're going to appreciate it. Malign Hex with this particularly interesting little release. As I say, not really sure if you could count it as a full-length album. So I think it's sort of like 25 minutes long. Not quite sure, but certainly is black metal, definitely. So then we have the third tape, which is the Dungeon Synth one. This is entitled Tribute to Southern Winds, and it is a split. So on the first side, side A, I'll show you that artwork first because it is a really nice artwork. Really cool artwork. So the first side is Coniferous Mist. So they cover the first side with captured to tape in a single take during the winter of 2022, all instrumentals by Mist. And then the second side, that is a little bit different because that is Grolheim, and they've, you know, each kind of track, if you like, or different stage of the music or song has a different title, but all synths by Lord something, which is absolutely unpronounceable. Work belonging to Old School Dungeon Synth Committee and Valdivian Black Circle. Not really sure, but I just assumed this was black metal, but actually it's Dungeon Synth. So if you're not sure what Dungeon Synth is, because I've only really discovered Dungeon Synth and even come across the term in the first place a few months ago, to describe it is quite difficult, but it is synth. It's very sort of, you know, electro synth, but it is like fantasy video game soundtrack. If you could imagine the perfect soundtrack to, you know, the Elder Scrolls games or some sort of fantasy games, I don't know, maybe Dark Souls. I don't know. I'm not too up to date with my you know, fantasy video games, World of Warcraft, whatever. This is the sort of stuff that you should have on in the background while you're trekking through the forests, you know, shooting goblins and all that sort of good stuff, you know, with arrows, of course. But this is really good. It's actually quite enjoyable. It's very catchy. It's very memorable. and it's quite immersive. It really does catch you and kind of draws you in, and just it builds that soundscape. It sounds really quite beautiful actually, and it is all just sort of electronic, electric whatever synth, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I have to say that I have always been a fan of synths in black metal, where it generates those kind of massive soundtracks and sort of soundscapes. Just take a track like At the Heart of Winter from Immortal, that album. That's absolutely stunning. That beautiful kind of synth intro really does just immerse you in this stunning winter landscape. And this isn't far off. Nowhere near as good in terms of the brilliance of music and the sound quality of At the Heart of Winter. But just to give you an idea, this is soundscapes, this is quite beautiful stuff. Both sides are really good. Wouldn't necessarily say one is better than the other. They're just certainly interesting listening. I think that these bands originate from South America, so hence the kind of southern winds part. But if you fancy listening to something a little bit different, if you like your synths and your kind of electro, whatever, then I think you'll probably enjoy this. So this is Tribute to Southern Winds, certainly very authentic in this tape form. So last item then, we're on to the CD. This one is outright second wave black metal worship. This is Verminous Night with Malignant Descent. So this is about 30 minutes long. But you just look at that cover. That is pure second wave of black metal worship. It really is. It's actually a band, or you've got a main guy here. So you've got Sanguinous Moth writing vocals, lyrics, guitars, and then you've got contributions from elsewhere. Really interesting stuff. What I would say about this is that if you like your early Dark Throne, your early Enslaved, your early or sort of more black metal sounding Marduk, then you're definitely going to enjoy this. It's interesting stuff. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not going to appeal to everybody, but this is certainly harsher. Pummeling drums. We've got that kind of faster paced 1-2. Then we've got our buzzing, screeching guitar work. Really awesome stuff. And then those massive vocals as well. Those kind of shrieking, banshee-like vocals. It's good stuff. Absolutely. I would say that Malignant Descent is definitely one. If you're a fan of your kind of, early second wave black metal, then you're definitely going to enjoy this. It's pure worship. And just a really nice package. I will say, Forbidden Keep, they really do produce some nice package stuff. Really high quality. It's not like, it doesn't have that sort of cheap, flimsy vibe about it. This is, really nice finish. Really sturdy products. But it feels authentic and it feels organic. So, just a little batch of stuff. This is the most recent batch of releases from Forbidden Keep. We've got Angstloch with, of course, The Shades of Pale Night. I think that's a great title. Then we've got Malign Hex with Putrescent Phantoms of Life's Failures. Brilliant. Tribute to Southern Winds from Coniferous Mist and Grolheim. And of course, last but not least, Verminous Night with Malignant Descent. Check them out if you like Dungeon Synth, if you like classic sort of second wave black metal, if you like it raw, dark, if you like plenty of atmospherics, massive soundscapes, check out these releases. Check out Forbidden Keep Records. Absolutely support the underground. They are well and truly down in deep in the cold, icy, frozen abyss of the black metal underground. Thanks for watching, my friends. Do check out these releases. Do feel free to share your thoughts and opinions on these. If you've never heard them, check them out. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations. Feel free to like and subscribe as always. Above all, my friends, do take care of yourselves and stay heavy.